support that 5-generation farm. I was rural sourcing and teleworking before the terms were actually cool. I started my business over 30 years ago using Mac Terminal to transfer data back and forth between Nebraska, Colorado, and Minnesota. My business cannot survive without strong, robust broadband. And if I don't have it, it really limits my effectiveness, which again, of course, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit about that. But I thought you might want to know a little bit about why I volunteer my time to be a connectivity champion for the resilient region. I've used dial-up, I've used satellite, and now I have DSL. When I go to Nebraska, as soon as I get Omaha going west, my cell phone no longer will bring in email or bring in messages. When I got home to the farm, one of the documents that we prepared, a white paper using Publisher, took 45 minutes to download the 12.5 megabyte document. It took an hour to upload 2 pages of edits that we were working on to actually, when we thought we might be going towards some of the GeoBond initiatives. At home on my work on Lake Mille Lacs, it took 2 days to download 200,000 megabytes to upgrade my new computer. When I have the fishing for ducks, 3,000 fishermen out on Lake Mille Lacs in front of my home and business, I had no cell phone and no internet. On Labor Day, I had no cell phone, no internet, as the system was jammed from the Twin Cities all the way to Garrison. So, I represent a number of people, basically over 44 champions, who are committed to actually making a difference here. The Resilient Region Project, and actually it's not coming in, so maybe I'll just talk while it's kind of figuring it out here. Was a HUD DOT EPA Sustainable Communities Grant. So we are a community-driven, university-assisted, private-public partnership pursuing economic environmental vitality in Cass, Crow Wing, Morrison, Todd, and Wadena counties, and I live in Aiken. We successfully engaged over 600 residents, 3 times the projection, in developing a multidisciplined region-wide vision for the 5-county region of Cass, Crow Wing, Morrison, Todd, and Wadena counties. Although focused on economic development, housing, land use, and transportation, the interdependence of these actually was always taken into consideration. From that planning effort, we have 11 themes: housing, connectivity, energy, natural resources, education and workforce development, transportation, economic engines, healthcare, changing populations, government efficiency and effectiveness, and affordable housing. Every single one of those in the plan assumed broadband. Every one of the 11 themes assumed we had connectivity. And like you all, we are in basically a digital divide. We have parts of our region that have unlimited access to broadband, and then others where there is little or no access. Even coming here today, I had no cell phone towers as I went across 18, across from Mille Lacs over to 35W South. What we've been working on, and I have a handout on your table, there's some of the things that we've been working on. And the champions, the connectivity champions, I just want to give a shout out to those individuals who are also volunteering their time to work with me. Pam Mailing, who's Corporate Resource Specialist with WCTA, Kevin Larson, CEO at Consolidated Telephone Company, Janelle Riley, CEO of Savantis Technologies. I'm on that. Sally Feinday is a champion wireless communications business manager for Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe. Monty Johnson is one of our champions, senior dean, Minnesota State College and Technical College at M-State. In terms of our work, okay, here we go. There's actually, the website is on that handout there in terms of this particular report. These are the 11 themes that are engaged. Every one of those assumed that we had some kind of connectivity, so we decided to call it a virtual highway to kind of help people understand what we were talking about. We also have a white paper that we've developed on building a resilient region virtual highway that has a number of policy issues related to rural broadband deployment. In addition, we've been working on an anchor tenant assessment using Minnesota Connect. We have another project, a demonstration project that we're working on right now called Grow Our Own IT Career Pathway for At-Risk Youth. In addition, we're starting to work on a demonstration project around telehealth. In addition to that, we secured a Cura student, and on my handout is actually the URL for this particular, the economic benefits of broadband expansion to rural and remote areas. There are a jury found was that Rural Sourcing Inc. and Onshore Technology, online technology are both companies that are dedicated to rural sourcing, bringing companies into rural areas. So you might want to take a look at some of their information as well. So we've been working on a number of things. The last thing that we've been talking about, working within our area, we did expressions of interest for the FCC dollars for all experiment eligible locations in our 5-county area. I also want to give a shout out to Dana McKenzie and Diane Wells, a real big thank you. They actually identified if you're having difficulties getting access to the Arbor Towers, Diane and Dana really want you to call them. And that was a big issue for us because we knew we had that infrastructure in terms of Arbor systems, but we were not getting access to those, and they want your calls and emails to help, and they will help you kind of build that bridge if you need to. So I want to give a big thank you to them. Also a shout out to Roxy and the East Central Broadband Task Force. Your work is really vital to helping rural Minnesota build a sustainable rural region. I thank you all for the time today.